Okay. So, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for hopping in and joining this. Hold on, for some reason, I've got Tiffany front and center at the. I don't know why I'm not. I'll just do gallery view. Okay. Just not put the spotlight on Tiffany. Okay. Anyways, thanks for hopping on. This is our final wrap-up call in our Revival Back to You group. Obviously, I'm Noel Bressler, and I'm going to be delivering my insight on keeping the peace and how to maintain your sanity when not stressing yourself out over whether it's just everyday life or if it's this particular business or whatever it is. So I just wanted to start with something that may not resonate with everybody, but because I'm here speaking my truth, I have to start at the beginning where I actually got my peace from when I was super stressed out. I'm prone to anxiety. I'm currently dealing with depression. And so my mind is always all over the place. I always have 20,000 tabs open. So it's always been super important to me to somehow find a calm and inner calm and just have that sort of knowing and that peace inside of me, so that when there's so many things demanding my attention or my energy, I just know how to come back to myself and not worry myself and stress myself out. So that, as a believer, started when I actually started following Christ and studying the Bible and going to church. And that's where my peace originated, because I accepted Jesus into my life. And I realized in that moment that, God was the only person that I had to please. And it wasn't about people pleasing, and it wasn't about meeting outside expectations. It was just about me being a good person. And that brought me a lot of clarity, I guess, in my life. It enlightened me to this sort of feeling where I still set goals, and I still had certain things that I wanted to achieve. And I still do. I still have certain levels of success that I want to achieve. But at the end of the day, it feels okay. I feel okay with who I am, just based in who I am as a Christian and as a believer. Of course, if you are not, then you will have to look for your peace elsewhere. And I know a lot of people, they find that spirituality, they find comfort in the universe or whatever divinity that they believe in. And that's up to you. That's going to be up to you to figure out for yourself. But let me just get started. So I was going through my journal because I wanted to take it back to when I actually did start feeling at peace with where I was in my business and in my life and what I was doing. And being at peace, let me just forward this a little by saying that it doesn't mean that there's no chaos in your life. It doesn't mean that there's no challenges or struggles, or that you're just walking around in perfect Zen mode all the time. It certainly doesn't mean that. It just means knowing that despite the things that are going on around you, despite the life that is happening around you, you don't have to stress over it, and you don't have to worry over it, because you have this inherent belief that everything is happening as it should. So one of the things that stuck out to me during reading through one of my old journals was a comment I wrote that said, "I'm excited to improve." And I think that it's really important that we look at something like that, because we don't walk around saying, "I'm excited to be improved." We always talk about I'm excited to do better. I'm excited to better myself. But by saying that, we're actually saying I'm excited about the journey. It's not about the destination. Otherwise, we'd walk around saying I'm excited to be, well, I guess we do say I'm excited to be better. So that doesn't really work. But you get what I'm saying. I wrote, I'm excited to improve, not I'm excited to be improved. So I've always kind of really loved the journey. It could be because I'm a nerd and I love to read and I love to analyze. So like for me, the journey is the best part. Studying is like something that I absolutely love and enjoy. But I think it is so crucial that whether it's, you know, your weight loss journey or your mental health or your spiritual journey or this business, that we're excited about the day-to-day, the learning and the growing and the being in the moment. And we're not so super focused on the end result that we forget all the joy that happens in the day-to-day, all the minimal, the tiny little events that happen that will eventually make our characters so strong and so resilient are happening in the daily struggles, the daily strife. So don't forget about that. Let's see. All right, so I'm just going to get right into it. I have written down 5 steps for how to kind of be at peace with yourself, where you are in your journey, in whatever journey you're referring to right now. Number 1, align your practices with your goals. You will always feel like you're failing if you align, if you try to compare what you're doing with what somebody else is doing whose goals are monumentally larger than your own. So like if you're, for example, you're a coach and you are trying to achieve, you know, diamond rank, if you sit and compare your actions with a coach who is trying to achieve top 10, you're going to feel like you're failing, because at that level, you don't have to be doing what a top 10 coach is doing. You don't have to be reaching as many people as a top 10 coach is going to be reaching each day. So find mentors who actually have goals or who have achieved something that you're actually working towards, and then align your actions with their actions. Keep your sights on your own goal, so that when you look at your day-to-day, you don't feel like a failure compared to somebody else's day-to-day who might be doing more because they have, you know, much larger aspirations than you. And then find 1 or 2. And so then you won't, and then the other end of that is that you won't look at people who maybe their goals aren't as large as yours, and you're subsequently aligning your goals with theirs, and then you're not quite achieving what you want to achieve because you're following like the wrong person, or just kind of keeping your actions aligned with your own goals, and making sure that you select the right mentor will keep you at peace. Because I know for myself, I was following somebody and trying to align my actions with theirs and my business with theirs, yet knowing that their style of working was way beyond anything I was willing to do. And I consistently felt like I was falling short, or I was disappointing, or I just didn't measure up. And I realized that I needed to stop trying to be a person that I wasn't willing to do the work to become. So I hope that makes sense to you. The other thing, which leads me right into number 2, which is set goals for you. Don't worry about where Beachbody wants you to be. Don't worry about what your upline wants you to achieve. Remember that the reason that we're even doing this, the reason that we're here, the reason that we started this Revival Back to You group was for you to remember that you're in this for you. And what your success looks like might look different than what somebody else's idea of success looks like. People get into this business and they want to be, you know, superstar diamonds, and they want to make $1 million. And that is fantastic. That's not anything that I would ever encourage you not to do if that's what you want to do. But don't feel like if you're a diamond coach, you know, earning $500 a week, which is amazing for your family, don't feel like you're a failure if you're okay with this. If this is what you want out of this business, if you just want to supplement your income, or if you just want to replace a full-time job and you don't really have aspirations to be the best or, you know, become a Beachbody legend, don't let somebody else's expectations of you alter what you want for yourself. Like, be okay with being okay with where you're at. And then also remember that stay focused on what brings you joy, and understand that sometimes you have to do certain tasks to get the thing that brings you joy. And those tasks aren't necessarily the things that you love about this business, but you have to set your goals in accordance to what you're willing to do. There's going to be some stuff that you don't love doing, whether it's this business. I keep talking about this business because it's what I know. But whether it's with your fitness, whether it's with your spiritual journey, I don't know. But set your goals. Know that some of your tasks towards your goals are not going to be your most favorite, and then set your goals in accordance with what you're willing to do. Like, if your goal is to have, you know, a 6-pack, but you're not willing to give up, you know, alcohol or eating out for any length of time, then it might be harder to achieve that goal. And you might be setting yourself up for disappointment and for chronic, like, feeling guilt, feeling shame when you do eat out, just feeling bad about yourself. So instead of setting yourself up for that failure, just either switch gears on what you're willing to do or switch gears on what your ultimate goal is. Sometimes your lifestyle just doesn't really align with that ultimate goal, and you realize that either the goal is not that important to you or your values are a little skewed in your lifestyle. And so fine tune and make sure everything aligns, or you're going to end up feeling really disappointed a lot of the time. And I did put up a quote this earlier that I just really love. It's success is getting from life what you decide you want. Because to society, I mean, success is money, success is fame, fortune, being thin, like all this stuff. Like, we know what success is in the eyes of America. But remember that success in your life is what you decide it is. It's what you want it to be and what you need from this. I know that last year, my success was heavily dependent on my rank and my income goals. And this year, I'm finding that I'm focusing a lot more on my faith, my family values, and my business is kind of taking a back seat to that right now. So I'm not going to derive my success feelings or my achievement from what my business is doing, because my focus is over here right now. And to me, that's successful. To me, getting healthy, feeling better, being present with my family, and growing my faith, I'm going to feel really successful at the end of the day if I've taken strides and made the moves to make that possible. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink because I feel like I'm just rambling through here. Okay. So number 3, we talked about this a little bit, but be patient with the process. I talked about enjoying the journey when we first started, but I was reading in my personal development today, and I really enjoyed an example. I said, God grows a mushroom overnight, but takes years to develop an oak. So if you truly want to be a better person, relish in the journey, because if you're really trying to hone your character, strengthen your character, change maybe some bad habits that you have about yourself, or some things that you don't necessarily love about yourself in regards to, self-detrimental things, realize that it's going to take time, and it takes time for anything great to grow, Obviously, God has the power to make an oak sprout up, but the oak wouldn't be resilient. It wouldn't have that strength if it just was, a super long, skinny little thing. It has to grow and mature and become this big, weather-withstanding tree. So you're an oak, okay? You're an oak, so it's going to take time. In another example, if you could do 10 squats and instantly have a Brazil butt lift booty, you wouldn't feel as proud of yourself doing it, because you know that anybody could go out there and do it, and everybody would have, this voluptuous, lifted butt, right? But it's not that easy. It takes a lot of work. So when you work towards something and you work hard and diligently and consistently and faithfully towards a goal, and then you achieve it, it is so much more empowering, and there's so much more pride and just accomplishment in achieving that goal. So trying to get out of that like instantaneous mentality and realizing that anything worth having takes time, and knowing that not everybody can do it. So when you get there, you do have a serious reason to celebrate. That does so much for your confidence and strengthening your character along the way. So allow it to change you instead of worrying about the end result. Just enjoy where you're at, what you're learning in the process. Number 4 goes along with this, but I really love the quote, so I made it its own little thing. You are not where you want to be, but neither are you where you used to be. So kind of piggybacking off number 3, don't focus on where you want to go so much that you forget how far you've come, that you forget where you were. Even for me, I mean, I'm in this sort of state of limbo. I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And I feel like when I started this, I was struggling with social anxiety. And then I overcame social anxiety. And here I am 2.5 years in, and I'm struggling with another, I guess, mental illness, I guess, if you want to say it like that. But I mean, it is. And so for me, I could be like, I feel like I'm backsliding. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. But instead of looking at it like that, I just look at 2.5 years ago, and I think to myself, if I had to deal with this 2.5 years ago, I would be in such bad shape. I would be in a world of trouble if I were trying to combat depression while I was combating social anxiety, before I'd filled my heart and soul with all of these amazing books that I've been reading and all the stuff that I've been studying. So instead of beating myself up for not being where I think that I should be, which is on the other side of this sort of depressive state, I'm choosing to be thankful and feel kind of blessed that I'm dealing with it now versus then, because now I know that I can overcome it. I know that I can get over it. So when you acknowledge and you internalize that growth, it does wonders for your self-confidence and your self-love, and just really, accepting yourself and accepting that it is a journey. Life is a journey. There's no end point but death. So let's not rush towards that. Just take it easy and enjoy every day, people. And then number 5 is the infamous line said by Travis's grandma that I just live my life by. How to maintain peace in your life. This is the secret sauce, guys. This is the thing. Whenever you have something come up that you're just oh gosh, I really want for this to happen. I really, really want this. Just say to yourself, either it will or it won't. So one time, Travis' grandparents were visiting, and we were going to go apple picking. I may have told you this story. I've said it on a couple of trainings, but it's pretty amazing. I keep it with me forever. But I wanted to go apple picking, and I was just stressing out because it was supposed to rain. And I'm like, well, I hope it doesn't rain when we get there, but I hope it doesn't rain before we get there, because then it's going to be muddy and this whole. And Travis' grandma just looked at me, and she was like, well, either it will or it won't. And just kind of went on with her day. And I was just like, that is so true. Why am I even going to sit here worrying about what the weather's going to do? Either it's going to rain or it's not going to rain, and nothing I say or do is going to make it rain or not rain. So realize that either you will hit your goals or you won't hit your goals. And that can pertain to anything. That can be this business, that can be fitness, your marital goals, your goals with your finances, whatever it is. Either you're going to hit them or you're not going to hit them. But that doesn't mean that everything you accomplished in the process of trying is discounted. Every step forward that you took is a step closer to that goal. And I kind of thought of this analogy earlier, which might be a little dumb, but it's what I thought. So say you're in the middle of an ocean. I mean, not middle, but you're in the ocean, you're on a raft, there's no land around you, and obviously your number one goal is to be rescued. So you figure if you just keep paddling in one direction, you're going to get rescued, right? So you paddle for, a couple of days in one direction. And after a couple of days, you see land in the horizon. Well, you haven't reached your goal. Your goal is to be rescued or to hit land or whatever it is. But you haven't reached your goal, but you can see your goal. I mean, it's right there. So are you going to give up and be like, well, you know what? I wanted to be rescued in 2 days and I'm here 2 days later and I'm not rescued, so I'm just going to give up? Or are you going to look at the goal, see that you're that much closer to your goal, and keep paddling for as many days as it takes to get there? That's sort of like life. I mean, you can set goals till you're blue in the face. And yes, there are strategic ways that you can set yourself up and give yourself better odds of reaching those goals. The harder you work towards those goals and the more you think about them and stuff like that. But just because you miss a goal doesn't mean that the goal is unimportant or unattainable, or that the work and the progress that it took to get there is completely discounted. So giving yourself some grace and realizing that you're human and that it's okay and that it's all just a big learning experience. Life is just a big learning experience. And, the more you learn, the wiser you are. Maybe next time you'll be wiser about how many days you give yourself for this goal. Maybe not, but either you will or you won't. So, and then another thing I wanted to say, that was my last point, but I wanted to say there's a kind of a line that I tell myself a lot, or actually I tell Travis a lot because he says things that I need to remind him. But I always say I release myself. Like, for example, there was this one time he was taking Reagan to a birthday party, and I'm not the kind of mom who goes out and, picks out wonderful presents and wraps them up beautifully with a bow, tied perfect. Like, that's just not me. So I sent a gift card in a card. Like, that's what I do. I send those things to my family. And so that's what I sent with. And he's like, nobody sends gift cards to a 6-year-old birthday party. And I was like, you know what, Travis? I release myself from those like perfect mom expectations. This is what the gift she's bringing. And, I just release. I don't feel guilty over it. I don't care. Like, this is what I do. They won't invite Reagan to another birthday party if they have a problem with it. Of course they will, because nobody has a problem with a gift card. But I say that to myself a lot. Like, I release myself from that expectation. I had to say that to myself about Elite this year, because for me, Elite, it's just not a priority, if I'm being honest. Like, I thought it was, I intended for it to be, but life happened in a way that it made me not too worried about Elite and more so just worried about holding things together. But I know there were a lot of people who expected me to rise to the occasion, to push past certain things, to go into hustle mode. And I constantly have to remind myself, like, I release myself from those expectations, because I don't want to disappoint anybody. But at the end of the day, this business is designed for me, and this business is designed for you. And your fitness journey is designed, and it's about you. You don't have to be a certain way to make somebody else happy. Like, it's just about you. In your spiritual journey, it's just about you. It's about making you happy and fitting your life. So release yourself from expectations, from guilt, from somebody else's needs when they need you to do this, this, and this, and it doesn't fit in with your life. Release yourself. You don't have to do those things that don't further or add value to your life in some way. And I do believe in serving others, and I do believe in doing things that you don't necessarily like just love doing. But I don't know where I was going with that, but release yourself from shame or, whatever. Like, it was difficult coming out about depression, and more so just seeing some other stuff about it. But anyways, I released myself from that shame. I am who I am, and I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, so whatever. Anyways, my action step for you guys, and I've said it before, so I may have actually given you this action step before, but let's see who's actually done it. I want you to write out a list, and just at the top write success means, and then just make a list of what success looks like for you, and take Beachbody success out of it. And I don't mean that you can't write success looks like, you know, a 10-star diamond, if that's what it looks like for you, but try to just do it from a life perspective. Like for me, I'll give you an example, something silly almost. Success means having the luxury of slow mornings dedicated to me time. Like, I feel really, really blessed knowing that my mornings are mine. I can wake up and just take it easy, drink my coffee, read my book, work out, just to have me time and start the day right. Not everybody can do that. So if success looks like that for me, and I was working a full-time job, then one of my goals would then have to be to either, you know, leave my full-time job or figure out different hours for that job. But for the sake, I wrote leave my full-time job. And then having that major goal based upon what I believe success looks like, then I could break it up into smaller goals on how to achieve that bigger goal and how to achieve success. So taking success away from taking the monetary actual number out. I know that we're told when you write your goals down to write it very specifically, like I'm making $1,000 a week. But for me, if you write I'm free to travel, then you know you need to be making a certain amount a week, and that can be your goal. But focus success on the feelings that you want to have. Focus success on the freedoms you want to have and the luxuries you want to have, and just the day-to-day, how you want to feel during the day, how you want to feel in your everyday life. And if you write that down, then you can break it down into certain goals that you have to hit and achieve in order to feel that way. Because to me, success is a feeling. It's not a destination. It's just your lifestyle. So that's how I keep the peace in my life. I release myself from expectations. I focus on the journey more so than the destination. I accept that there's going to be challenges because it's life, and that's just what life is all about. So I don't get so hung up on those things. And I know when I miss goals that I can just reset them. It's not the end of the world. That's just sort of my mentality. Maybe it's not super hustle mode, guys. Maybe it's not like hardwire black and white, but that's just what's worked for me. So I really hope that this helped you. I hope it wasn't just a lot of rambling. Does anybody have any questions while we're still sitting here? Okay. Well, then I thank you all for hopping on, and I'm going to hopefully get this recording in the team page tomorrow. Not tonight, it'll be up tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.